the quiet suburbs of Walnut Creek, California, on a cold January morning in 1969, a girl was born who would redefine beauty for a generation. Her name was Christy Nicole Turlington, the second of 3 daughters born to a Pan Am pilot and a flight attendant with dreams rooted in the sky. From the very beginning, Christy radiated grace, not loud, not flashy, but a quiet elegance, the kind you only notice when everything else fades away. As her father flew above the clouds, her imagination soared even higher. Her childhood was filled with horseback riding, sunshine, and structure. A classic California girl, unaware that her face would soon be known around the world. At 14, while riding at the local stables in Miami, fate arrived, quietly, casually, in the form of a photographer. He saw in her what the world had not yet seen: a timeless beauty, a sculpted silhouette, a calm power behind innocent eyes. That photograph would change everything. Soon, agencies were calling, contracts, catalogs, catwalks. At 16, Christy was no longer a California girl. She was a rising star. She moved to New York City, the heartbeat of fashion, with nothing but a portfolio and unshakable poise. In the heart of Manhattan, amid flashing lights and camera clicks, Christy Turlington took her first bold steps onto the runway. She was not loud. She didn't need to be. Her presence did the talking. Designers noticed. Magazines took note. The quiet girl from California had become fashion's next obsession. Her breakout came with Calvin Klein. Minimalism, power, poise. Her face became the brand. In 1988, she graced the cover of Vogue. The beginning of a reign that would define an era. She wasn't alone. Alongside Naomi Campbell, Cindy Crawford, Linda Evangelista, and Claudia Schiffer, a new league was forming, the Supermodels. Christy was the calm center of the storm, serene amidst the madness of fame. Photographers called her the most classically beautiful woman in the world. In campaigns for Chanel, Versace, and Valentino, she became elegance personified. She was no longer just a model. She was the ideal, the muse, the movement. By the early 90s, Christy's face was everywhere. Billboards in Tokyo, subways in Paris, magazine kiosks in Manhattan. She wasn't chasing fame. Fame was chasing her. In George Michael's Freedom, 90, she appeared alongside the greats. Statuesque, soulful, unforgettable. It wasn't just modeling. It was mythology. But even as the world watched her rise, Christy stayed grounded. Between shoots, she read philosophy. Between shows, she sketched ideas. Her mind moved deeper than the flashbulbs could see. She knew beauty was fleeting, but purpose? That lasts. By 1993, Christy had walked every runway, conquered every campaign, but inside she yearned for something more. She was beauty's front woman. Now she wanted to be its truth. So at the height of her fame, she walked away. Christy didn't disappear. She transformed. From muse to student, from model to seeker, she studied comparative religion and Eastern philosophy at New York University. Searching for truths that no mirror could reflect, yoga became her sanctuary, a sacred space where breath, balance, and being met in silence. But life had one more transformation in store. In 2003, Christy became a mother. Her own birth experience sparked something deeper, a calling to protect and uplift mothers everywhere. In 2010, she directed No Woman, No Cry, a documentary that revealed the hidden crisis of maternal mortality. She founded Every Mother Counts, an organization fighting to ensure safe birth for every woman, everywhere. From runways to rural villages, Christy brought compassion where cameras never reached. She wasn't just advocating, she was living her mission. For Christy, beauty became service, style became voice, fame became fuel for something far greater. And through it all, she remained unmistakably Christy, elegant, grounded, and quietly unstoppable. Her legacy, not just how she looked, but what she stood for. Christy Turlington didn't just redefine beauty, she redefined purpose. And she's still walking. For mothers, for meaning, for more. With Every Mother Counts, Christy wasn't just lending her name. She was leading the charge. She traveled to remote villages, met midwives, listened to mothers. Her beauty now measured in impact. Runways turned to dirt roads, flash bulbs to fieldwork. The mission mattered more. She spoke before Congress, rallied support, and proved that advocacy could be just as iconic as any ad campaign. And still, she modeled. But now it was on her terms, in her time. She became the image of ageless elegance, not defined by decades, but by depth. In a world chasing the next face, Christy reminded us to remember the soul behind it. She taught us that beauty isn't the destination, it's the question. Today she's still walking, not on runways, but in purpose, in peace, and always in grace. This is the story of Christy Turlington, a supermodel who became so much more than beautiful. She became meaningful, but Christy's impact didn't stop at maternal health. Her influence quietly reshaped the modeling industry's very narrative. She advocated for healthier standards, questioned the unattainable ideals set by fashion houses, and pushed for diversity before it became a mainstream agenda. Unlike many who remained distant from their roots, Christy stayed connected to her family, her spiritual grounding, and her deep interest in education and activism. Her rare blend of humility and conviction inspired a generation of young women who saw her not just as a face, but as a guide. She served on boards, spoke at global health summits, and became a trusted voice in both fashion and humanitarian circles. The press didn't always spotlight her, and yet her silence echoed louder than most headlines. She was never the loudest in the room, but often the most listened to. Her journey, filled with runway lights and rural clinics, New York boardrooms and Buddhist retreats, represented a woman in search of balance, wholeness, and contribution. Through her films, public speaking, and written essays, she continuously emphasized empathy, the power of seeing others not as causes, but as equals. And even today, Christy's presence transcends seasons or collections. She's not defined by trends, but by timelessness. Her story is a testament to the idea that the most powerful transformation is one rooted in compassion, and that true beauty lives in those who use their light to illuminate others. Her influence extended beyond humanitarian work into the world of wellness and mindful living. Christy didn't just adopt yoga as a practice, she embodied it as a philosophy. She wrote about its impact, advocating for breathwork, stillness, and presence in a culture that often moves too fast. In her interviews, she encouraged young people to find value in self-awareness and inner alignment. Her voice, soft but clear, became a beacon for holistic living. She also collaborated with ethical brands, supporting sustainable fashion and urging consumers to think about the hands behind the clothes. Her activism expanded from motherhood to womanhood, speaking on panels about body image, mental health, and the right to dignified care for all women. Christy became a symbol of evolution, someone who kept growing long after the spotlight had shifted. She was never bound by trends or time. She embraced aging, challenging the very industry that once idolized youth. Her return to campaigns in her 40s and 50s wasn't just a comeback. It was a statement, a declaration that wisdom, experience, and authenticity are their own kind of beautiful. For Christy, life is a canvas, and she continues to paint it with integrity, resilience, and grace. In a world that too often worships surface, Christy Turlington remains a reminder that depth, true, radiant, lived-in depth, is the most compelling story of all.